Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is Elite Kicks back with the weekly video. We've got 3 topics on hand today that I'm going to be walking through. The first and foremost is what happened to the dunk reserve that was supposed to happen last week. We're talking about the orange lobsters. We're talking about the Jackie Robinson dunks. What exactly happened with that? We'll break that down. We're also going to be talking about the lost and found shock drop that has been pending what it feels like for years and years and years. Is that still happening? And finally, I know I've been talking about this for several weeks, but I just want to talk to you guys about some February releases, and I want to hear from you guys. What's the release in February that you're most looking forward to? So let's talk about the dunk reserve that was supposed to happen. So as a general rule, sometimes what happens on the back end is there are shoes that load up, there is a date that's assigned, the information hits the web, and things just grow and grow and grow, and then at some point Nike says, you know what, too many people know about this, we're gonna pull this. So as a few examples of this situation happening, we saw it with the Homer Simpson dunks is one prime recent example, but if you also remember the Cherry 11s, when those shock dropped, the number of people in the actual live was more than 100,000 people. Now if you've actually listened to a live when it's not a shock drop, or when a shock drop is not anticipated, that number is significantly less. You're talking about somewhere upwards of like maybe 20, 30, 40,000, maybe 50,000 if it's a really interesting live, but usually it doesn't go upwards of 100,000 unless there's a shock drop. So Nike got wind of it. They did ultimately pull it. Now I do have some good news in that regard. They are still scheduled to drop. There will be a dunk reserve, a shock drop of some sorts with the orange lobsters, with the Jackie Robinson dunks. As we've historically seen for the past couple of years, dunk reserves happen on a regular basis. These will drop soon. I can't really give an exact date. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the lost and found shock drop, which it feels like it's been pending since December. What initially happened during the initial release, there was rumored to be a lot of pairs. And if you look on Twitter and you look at all the W's, it's not clear if all the pairs were given out or if Nike held on to some stock, because what actually did end up happening is that Nike, for whatever reason, just did not anticipate the sheer number of volume of people going for that shoe, and just their servers were not prepared and they crashed. That's why it took upwards of 50 minutes to hand out W. The rumored shock drop has literally been pending on Instagram, Twitter. People have been talking about it since December. It's happening. It's gonna happen. Oh, it's gonna happen this week. It's gonna happen this week. Now, January has generally been a really dry month. Will it happen this week? It's not clear. What is clear is that there is stock that has been added for the lost and founds, which generally indicates that it is going to happen soon. More than likely, what we'll see happen is that it will be a Jordan reserve. Now, Jordan reserves generally happen within that 3 to 4 month time span, and this sort of end of January, beginning of February is going to be around the time when the Jordan reserve is going to be happening, because I think the last one was the Midnight Navy 4s, which, if I recall correctly, was probably around that November-ish. I don't think it was October, but I think it was November. If you guys remember what it was, just drop it down in the comment section. But we're within that sort of ballpark figure when the Jordan reserve will happen. My main 2 things for you guys is this. Look, guys, the orange lobster drop, the Jackie Robinson drop, even the lost and found Chicago drop, don't lose hope. It's going to happen. My advice to you is right now, do not pay resale value. I understand that there's a lot of concern that, hey, I really want to get a pair of these Chicagos before there's another restock happens and the price just ends up shooting up. Well, you want to give yourself a chance to cop on retail, okay? You don't want to pay for a shoe right now that you pay upwards of $500 and that you end up taking a W for retail. So my advice to you is be patient, guys. Wait it out. The lobsters will drop again. The Jackie Robinsons will also drop, and the lost and founds will also be dropping. So just be patient about it. Let Nike drop the reserve on Jordans and let Nike drop the reserve on dunks. The final thing I want to talk to you guys about is, February's releases. We're expected to see the Craft 4s, is what I believe they're called. That's February 11th. That's already loaded up. That's 100% looks like it's likely going to happen. A lot of people are sort of staying away from it. If you are looking to get it for the personal, they're calling it an SE edition because the materials that are used are a little bit different than what you would see on a normal Jordan 4. I believe the value of it is around $220 retail, and you've got to add tax and everything like that. That's February 11th. The Seafoam 4s are also rumored to be happening on February 9th. Now these haven't loaded up. We'll probably see as a pushback. I just don't see Nike or Jordan Brand dropping a 4 on February 9th and then dropping another 4 on February 11th. That just seems like it's going to be too much. We're also going to be seeing the black and white Jordan 1 High 85s. Now this is going to be a highly sought after pair, at least in my personal opinion. This for me is my top priority for February. And let me know what you guys think. Are any of these pairs enticing to you? Are you waiting until March, February, later into the spring? We're also going to be seeing the Langley 1s, which to me doesn't really look particularly good, but a lot of people like the colorway. A lot of people will be going after that shoe. And finally, we're going to be seeing the cool gray 6s towards the end of the month. Again, another nice looking pair of shoes. So I mean, February is looking jam-packed, and when we get into March, we're going to be talking about nothing but Travis Scott. So it's rumored to be that this Travis Scott in the olive colorway, I think is what it's going to be called. It's a women's release, but it's also supposed to be the last Travis Scott Jordan 1 collab. So people are obviously going to be chasing that shoe. That is the end of the video, guys. Next week's video, we're going to be talking about a preview of the Jordan 4 Craft, how to cop, just to get you guys the information so you guys are fully prepared about best places to cop, resale value, all that information. This is Elite Kicks signing off. Take care, everybody.